welcome. You are all familiar with Shifali Jain. She has featured in a lot of our conversations of Wonder Woman and panel discussions. I recently met her in Mumbai over lunch, and we ended up talking about the plight of career women, the challenges they face, and some of the myths around them. So I decided to get her to have a conversation with me today. And she's a hard woman to get, very busy, sometimes flying all across the country. So today we found her in her office. Welcome, Shifali. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you, Mandeep. It's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you. I mean, you're so brimming with energy that I would say the energy is just contagious.
You're kind. Okay, so we were talking about a lot of things. We'll try to capture a few in these next 15, 20 minutes. The first is all HR teams. And this is very important because besides being a senior banker or a wholesale banker, you also in the diversity and inclusion lead of your organization. So this becomes more important because a lot of companies are sensitizing their senior managements and people down the line on the unconscious biases when it comes to gender diversity. So do you think that when the younger women are coming, they're facing less biases than women of our generation?
See, I would say that with the kind of concerted efforts being put by the organization, as well as a lot of awareness around media, social media, etc. So there has been definitely a change around and those biases. And I would say that the traditional biases which used to be playing around women have considerably gone down. Things around marriage, maternity, all that kind of stuff has really gone down because a lot of women have crossed those kind of barriers and proven themselves that they could handle all well. But I would say that there is one bias which still has it is there at play, and maybe it is not at entry level, it is even at leadership level that women consistently face. It is about women being able to handle complex roles. So each time they have to prove themselves to be getting those roles, and it doesn't come so easy. So I think that is where the biases is still prevalent, and that needs to be changed. And I'll be very, and I won't say that it is all about men playing those biases. It is gender agnostic. I'm making a candid confession here. I was flying very recently, and it was all women crew. And I was surprised with my own self. I was little jittery. The question came to my mind whether it is safe. And the entire women crew was so brilliant. The takeoff and, the weather was bad. Didn't find any turbulence, smooth landing. Everything was so perfect. So, I was very unhappy with my own self that, how could I have this kind of a question coming to my mind, And so I think these are the things which we really need to change about ourselves. Even a thought like this should not be there at all in our mind.
Well said, well said. I think a lot of people go through that. I get very excited. I think, oh, that's a badass pilot. I have a woman flying me. I have this.
No,
but you go through this, obviously. And men do it all the time when they're driving. Somebody could be, taking a reverse thing, saying, it has to be a woman driver.
Exactly. That's the point. That's the point.
That's true. Oh. There are some certain things in which men have to say things like that. One of the other things, Shifali, and we have often talked about this, that we have, an ecosystem with parents and sisters and in-laws who are very supportive of our careers. We also have made sure that we have help at home, which takes care of when our children come home, et cetera, et cetera. But still, worldwide, the studies prove that the entire burden of the unpaid domestic work in terms of what the extent women do, and also the caregiving becomes primarily a job for a woman. And the global studies actually say that women actually do perhaps 3 times the work on this unpaid work, as it's called, for women. Now, when this is happening, do you see this kind of a thing change going forward? Because I do see the Gen Z guys being a little bit more aware and helping out, but not in all communities. How do you see this changing in India?
I don't want to take away something which women has been doing very efficiently. And that has been a forte of women because they've been wired that way. It is probably there in the genes. When I talk about my kid, when she is unwell, she would, even though they're very close to their father, but when they're unwell, it is general tendency to be sticking around to the mother. And, I think that's something which I don't want to take away from women. But what is actually changing is that, it is coming to both the kids and the spouse as well as the family. What is changing is that they're becoming more supportive. If there is something pressing, on the work front and there is a challenge at home, people do step in and help and probably take a shared responsibility towards home, depending on what is important at that point of time. So that is what is changing. But I don't want to take away from women what they've been doing it very well.
From your first point of answer, Shifali, when you said that unconscious biases do exist when it comes to even senior women and giving them complex roles. One of the things always, now not so much, but it has always been a thing that do they network enough? Do they meet people enough? And time is of essence for women because of these whole domestic responsibilities. And even if they don't have domestic responsibilities, even if they're single women, they might have parents to take care of, etc., etc. So time is one thing which is something women are always battling. What is your view on that?
Time is something which is all about management. And it is not about men and women. A lot of women have been doing that. It is, that 24 hours available to anybody and everybody. How you make best use of it, makes you stand apart. And I've been reading a lot about successful people. And the only thing that they do differently is, having a discipline, consistency, and focus on atomic habits. And that is what defines them. And what I have seen in my own life, what I have planned for the day and I follow it consistently, meticulously, I don't fall short of time. And today morning, I was speaking with a colleague of mine, and he complimented me on my dress. And then he said, so I told him that, just after playing tennis, I had to get draped into a sari. And he said, my God, how do you manage all that? And, again, it was all about, what you prioritize in your life, discipline, consistency. I think it's all about that.
Well said. In fact, one of the things which women are going through now, and I want to ask your opinion on it, is this increased, enhanced focus on DEI. A lot of people say that because our organizations are taking it, I might get a promotion, but do I really want to take a promotion when I'm part of the special initiative on DEI? The organizations are trying to give break to women who are high performing, but sometimes women do not want to take such braces. I'll wait for a while, but I'll take a promotion. Why do you think this is happening? There is a very divided view on this issues. What's your view?
I think you should be comfortable whenever you want to take that plunge. We have to give women that time, and you have to be ready for it. I think that's very important. And yeah, I would say that these initiatives definitely gives an opportunity to women to uh, break the ceiling and expose themselves to probably uncharted territories and stuff like that. So I think it's a brilliant initiative and an opportunity which one should not miss. But we should not be on a guilt trip if we have missed it out. We should be prepared and ready for it.
Because you don't want to take the thing and then suffer from imposter syndrome that was I ready for it?
Exactly.
Did I give
Yeah.
it because of this? And those are the things
Yeah.
that you do not want women to
You
get.
need to be ready. And I think, I was reading Indra Nooyi's book, and she mentioned about when she became a CEO of Pepsi, and, there were challenges at home, and she wanted to share everything at home with her mother. And then her mother said, that can wait. Right now, you've entered into the kitchen and you need to first take care of the family, and you have to wear the hat of the mother, and you can keep the crown outside when you enter into the home. So, I mean, those are the things which are there. You need to be prepared. And I think what she did brilliantly in her working life was that she had a very good ecosystem. So a fallback system. And I think we all, anybody who's striving to gain leadership position, they have to make sure that they have a decent ecosystem around, whether it is family, friends, or mate, whatever you may say. I mean, that ecosystem has to be around.
No, no, a lot
And
of
then
the
you're
girls,
prepared.
we in our WiP community as well, and otherwise as well, I have a lot of friends who talk about, and they're on their way up. And one of them from an IT company said that, the one person who criticizes me the most about bringing up my daughter is my mom. She says you don't
Yeah,
spend much time. So the biggest critics
exactly.
are actually sometimes, sitting all around us, and they are telling us as to what we are doing and what we could do better. Um, I feel that whenever the
And
conversation,
Mandeep, I just wanted to highlight, something which we keep talking about corporate world, but I've been largely working in PSU and government space. And what I have seen is, especially in the last 2 years, that there's been a, concerted effort by the government also to give a position of prominence to women leaders. And for the first time, an organization, so when we were talking about the complex roles, so NHAI is known to be, an organization which has, it has largely been men dominated because of the kind of work which it, executes. So largely you have to deal with contractors and stuff like that. But for the first time, we see a women chairman there. In a lot of PSUs now, I'm seeing whether it is ONGC, the largest oil company, oil drilling company in the country, PFC, IRFC, financial domain, then NBCC, EIL, all of them have women director finance, which is like a phenomenal kind of step taken by the government. I'm sure that there must be something where they want to give that kind of significance and priority to women in their leadership position. So I think that's a change which I'm seeing in the government for sure.
I think that's fantastic because I see also the private sector CEOs. Sometimes, obviously, one questions is it for the optics or do they really mean that these girls have come up? Because there are as many women as they are, but when you have these panel discussion, there's one woman in 10, then you say that, I wish there were three of them. Yesterday, I was doing a strategy meet for a company, and it was nice to see that there were at least 30 women amongst the 100 men who were there. So I
So
think
a lot of people would, again, that bias thing, a lot of people would say that organizations are doing it for optics. But I would say that, be it optics, be it,
I think the same. I think it's a start, whichever way it
yeah,
is.
it's a start. And what it's going to do is a lot of women don't have too many women to look up to. Now there is like a whole leadership, tribe which is coming in, and the younger women at least aspire to be one of them.
Yes, that is the point. And actually, I am so excited to see the number of women in the fintechs, the startup world, the
Yeah.
MSME, and there's so many CEOs and co-founders, and that's really, really very exceptional. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little rapid fire kind of a thing, a one-line answers for some of these things, and we often
Yeah.
speak about it casually. Give me your opinion just in one line. What do you think about women bosses?
Aggressive, assertive, and at the same time compassionate and considerate. That's what I feel about myself.
You as a boss, yes. But you having a woman boss, if you have had one, I don't know. What did you feel about that? Okay, networking for business.
It's the most important currency, gender agnostic.
Okay. Single women have it all.
Stereotyping,
Okay. Lack of confidence in women is because of
self-doubt, imposter syndrome, or you can say they've been wired to be perfectionist.
good. Getting business is easy for women because of their relationship skills.
Relationship skill is gender agnostic again, no stereotyping, and men have also been doing phenomenal work on relationship skills vis-a-vis women. So it's not about men and women, it's about who gets it right.
Correct. mental health is underrated by women.
Absolutely. Can I take a few more words to explain this?
Please do.
I think some of the celebrities came out in open and talked about mental health, and I think that's been a phenomenal step in this area of bringing awareness. Now people are opening up; they're not shy, and they're also asking for help. And a lot of platforms which are coming up are making things easy for women to address their mental health issues.
Good, yes. Women don't invest in themselves and upgrading their skills like coaching, etc.
So we need to break this thing, break the notion of diamond is women's best friend. Women can have more friends than just one best friend. And I think it is very important to invest in one own self. Skilling, reskilling is the order of the day. It's not about, if you have to add more life to your career, it is very important to invest in one own self. Take skilling courses, take coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, whatever you feel like. It really helps to navigate through twists and turns of life and difficult terrain in your leadership journey. So I have one, and I won't name the person, but it's been very useful.
Okay, final question. This is, I think, a myth, and I want you to give me your answer that women don't work for money.
Who says?
People, they don't know how to negotiate well. They don't ask for money. They don't know how to ask for money. And I mean, some of these things are also
Yeah. So women have been largely conditioned in such a way that they expect the system to recognize and reward them as per their caliber and stuff like that. But I think that needs to change. Women need to be vocal. They need to speak out what they deserve. And I go back to the very basic, which I learned very late in my life. My mother-in-law used to say that बेटे अगर बच्चा रोएगा नहीं तो उसको माँ भी दूध नहीं पिलाती है. I think that's very important that you need to speak out. If you don't speak or you don't fight for your own self, world will not fight for you.
Thank you so much, Shifali. Thank you for making this time today. And it was lovely. I know it is meant to be a short conversation, but catching up on views of what women are going through. I definitely always ask you to come into the panel because there's one thing that we always get from you. It is straightforward, direct answer. And that's the way we like it. So summing up with the fact that we do look at career women, I mean, yes, things are changing, but at the same time, there are some of the things do need a lot more focus from organizations, from women themselves as to how they invest and how they make things happen for themselves. Before we go, Shifali, any last points?
Yeah, I just have one small message for all the women in the WIP that I picked up a book, which is a very interesting book, Equal Yet Different. And it's just this caption, which caught my attention. It's written by Anita Bhogle. And every word of what was written, I think it's a must read. It resonated so well with me, and I'm going to be putting up some post on LinkedIn. But it's a must read for all the women. You would relate it so well with your own life, and a lot of doubts that you have around you. It's not something which is unique to you. It comes in every woman life. So be happy to be treated differently and yet equal.
Well said, well said. Well, girls, you heard Shifali and her views on some of the things which are happening with women. Organizations are trying to put initiatives like diversity, equity, and inclusions in them, and also sensitizing men on all the unconscious biases. But we have a long way to go. And people say we can't find women talent. So if women don't invest in themselves, they will miss out on some of the opportunities. I wish you all the very best. And if you have any questions, do let us know. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye, thanks.